What up? What up? What up? What up? Welcome back to C4 Explosive. Are you ready for this convo? Um, this one will not be a normal tipping of the scale. This will not be a breakdown of a movie. This be more of a discussion. Um, yeah. So I'm just gonna get into it because some people are not gonna like this topic, but this topic needs to be had. You don't too much hear anybody bring this topic up, or at least I haven't heard it. But I'm gonna bring it up. So let me ask you: are you ready for this convo? Are you ready for this convo? Let's tip these scales. Are you ready for this convo? Let's tip these scales. Are you ready for this convo? Let's tip these scales. Are you ready for this convo? Let's tip the scales. Let's tip the scales. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for this convo? Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's tip the scales. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for this convo? Shout out to the homie Frank Bragg. Frank, I don't want to mess his name up right now, but you'll see it on the back of the shirt right here. And this right here is his Instagram. Yeah, if you're looking for anybody who makes beats, does studio recording in the Jacksonville area, he does that. The guy's phenomenal. Been known him a long time, but don't take my word for it. Get with him. But let's go ahead and jump into this topic. Now, it's not a easy topic to have or discussion to have, simply because we have to go against a lot of what we was taught as children. And that thing is to respect our elders. Now, I respect all elders or anybody who came before me that has wisdom to pass down. Um, I will always and most utterly have respect for them. But some of you that call yourself elders, today is the day where you're going to have a discussion. I want y'all to take a look at this. Now, I grew up in the era of what happens in the house stays in the house. Now, I would like to use a clip from a movie, but I'm just not going to do it. Now, for anybody who saw Medea's Big Happy Family, there's a part in there where Medea talks about the problem with keeping things in the house. And I'm going to expunge on that when it comes to the uncle you don't leave kids around. So let me start off by saying to anybody who's an elder or call themselves an elder who came up in that era and felt that was the way to be, I'm going to tell you, you all were wrong. Like with the movie Black Panther, when he went to the ancestral plane and he told them, you all were wrong. I'm telling you, you all were wrong. Because the remedy that y'all had for that sick uncle who liked touching on kids was just to keep kids away from him instead of dealing with the problem. Now, I get it that the generation that raised me and the generation that raised them was real deep on family, because family had to be everything, especially after, all the, Jim Crow, slavery, all that stuff. Family had to be tight. And I 100% agree with that. But I do not agree with not dealing with certain issues, because I know children that I grew up with, females, males, that were touched by that uncle. we say touched, but usually some other stuff happened. I grew up with females who were molested by their fathers. But everybody let that be like the little dark secret off in the corner instead of dealing with it. And I also get it that it was taboo for a husband and wife to get divorced. I understand that. But what I don't understand is turning the blind eye to a child's pain. I don't get it. I don't respect it. And I'm sorry. If you were one of these ancestors, again, or one of these elders, again, you were wrong. Because I know children from that time that grew up and they are still dealing with that. But that uncle was able to live his life, move about, die peacefully, and everything else. But now you have a grown-up or who was a child who now is just afraid to let their kids do anything. Yeah, let me let you digest that for a second. And one thing that's also a fact that most times when these things took place, it was always somebody close to them that they knew. We're not just talking about uncles now. Talking about cousins, maybe brothers. I haven't heard it that close. The closest I heard it was a father, molesting his daughter, which is just terrible. But it's usually the uncle. I know of a situation where it was the uncle and his son. His son was doing it at a young age. And as he grew up, people still knew what he was about, but did not eradicate the situation. Didn't get him to some help. Didn't do anything. Everybody just turned a blind eye and just let it go on. I also know somebody who was sexually assaulted. That's what it is, a sexual assault. Over and over and over again by that one uncle. And it plagued her so much into her adulthood that she committed suicide. Because you elders did not do your jobs and protect children. I know of so many females who grew up what they call promiscuous, being a hoe, because everybody got to show judgment on the town hoe. The one who was pregnant at 13. Everybody shunned her and showed all type of judgment in her direction. But why was this going on? Because you, mom, your sick brother, opened Pandora's box for your daughter. Because you, grandma, your sick son that you always protected, opened Pandora's box for your granddaughter. Because you, dad, didn't check your brother and do what you were supposed to do. Because you, grandpa, said, and I quote, "Through all odds, we need to protect family." Isn't that child family? Isn't that child's well-being important? And you always wonder why you had that child in a class that was just acting out all the time, no matter what. Everybody said, oh, that child's crazy. Something's wrong with that child. And a lot of those children were put away. Now, people who came up in the 80s like I did, when they say put away, where parents would take their children and send them away to, like, it's not really an orphanage, but like to group homes, would put away your own child. Put away their own child. And in many cases, the things that was happening to these children happened to the parents. So it's like, how are you letting this happen? Well, it happened to me and I'm fine. I'm living good. So why can't they? Are you fine? Are you fine? Well, the same person who used to molest you is now molesting your daughter? Are you fine? To just let that go? I'm sorry, elders. I'm sorry. And it's in a huge percentile. Y'all failed us. Y'all failed us. I remember situations where, you know, you would end up at somebody's house that you don't know, but it's somebody that, you know, spending time with or whatever. It's one of their friends, whatever. And it's like they sent the kids in the room and they just forgot about us. And here comes that teen boy who asked the one young female in the room, hey, do you want to come to my room and play? You know, again, we're kids, so we don't understand what's happening. And we say, you know, we want to play. No. Only she can come play. All right, well, we can't go out there and tell the adults because they're going to just send us back in the room. So, you know, it is what it is, I guess. But then the girl comes back crying. Like, there's still images that are burnt into my brain that I can't forget. Where girl comes back crying, but is so numb and so in shock that they can't tell you what's going on. Then said girl gets up the courage to tell the adults, and the adults tell her, you better shut your mouth and not tell nobody what you just told us. What? And this was the norm. This was the norm. Elders, you failed. Hold up. You failed. Because a lot of those same females are dealing with that stuff to this day. That girl was forever changed from that day. From that day forward, she only saw boys, males, men, whatever, as a threat. Mind you, this is a different female I'm talking about from the one that committed suicide. And the list goes on and on and on. A majority of the females that I actually know or met in passing through life have similar stories. Makes so bad. I don't really have a point to this video. Like, what point do you make to this video? What's the punchline? mean, you can go with the teachable moment, because it's because of those situations. It's the reason why I am the way I am with my children. I don't trust my kids with nobody. I don't care if we're blood related. I don't care if we grew up since children. I don't trust my children with nobody. Let me take that back. I have about 2 to 3 people I trust my children with that are family. And when I say family, that don't necessarily mean that we are blood related. Yeah, there's even no reason to tip the scales for this one. This one's just all bad. This one is all bad. Or that mother who feels entitled that, I deserve to be happy in whatever way that comes. That you knowingly have a boyfriend that's touching your daughter. I know somebody that's been through this situation too. That's why I respect Tyler Perry for his movies, because he talks about it. But I don't think nobody really pays attention to it. He talks about it. Was that Madea family reunion? The mother, because her husband was going to leave her if she didn't let him rape her daughter. These are real life scenarios. These are real life situations. Like I said, I will always respect anybody that's elder to me, that shares wisdom, knowledge, gives me understanding on life, gives me things that'll help me prosper in life and teach to my children. But you other elders, I have no respect for you. I have no respect for you. Your existence is meaningless to me. Because due to your blind eye, y'all ruined a lot of children who never fully got a chance to mature to adulthood. If you sat back and allowed a family member to abuse their children, whether sexually or physically, because that's their children, because you didn't want to step in and say nothing, you are a coward. You are a coward. And there's some of them in my family. And it's one of those things, the shoe fits, wear it. If this arrow flies and you get hit in the heart with it, well, then I might be talking about you. Because I'm not immune from this. I'm not immune from this topic. Now, I'm not saying in any way that I was touched, but I have family members who that happened to. Because the negligence, the carefreeness of our so-called elders. I want y'all to think on that one for just a second. Because I know somebody watching this video can relate to what I'm saying. Hardcore. Somebody that's watching this video right now has been directly impacted for what I'm saying right now. And all I have to say to that is just let's be better than our elders. Let's be better than the generation that birthed and raised us. Now, going forward, I'm sure these types of things are still happening. But now, if you notice, we can say whatever we want about this generation. This generation now has a questioning attitude. And that conflicts with us because we was always told not to ask any questions. Just do what I say. I'm kind of glad that this generation asks questions. There's a generational shift, if everybody's paying attention, on the way things is happening. Me, I never agreed with do what I say, not as I do. I never agreed with that. So sometimes, you know, being that I was raised in that era, I will do something, but weeks down the line, I tell my child, don't do that. And my child will say, well, Dad, you did it. For me, I don't take that as disrespect. I take that as a gut check that I need to check myself. Because kids pay attention. We see everything. There was so much, oh my God. There was so many things that was happening around me that I would literally hear adults say, oh, he doesn't know what's going on. And I knew everything that was going on. I was always the fly on the wall, and I always stayed quiet. I knew exactly what was going on. I'm telling you, kids are way smarter than what people think. Oh, they're a kid. They don't know no better. Okay, you keep saying that. That's why now I watch what I say and do around my children. Because even when it looks like they're not paying attention, oh, they paying attention. So let me say that again. Just be mindful of your children, the things you're doing, the things other people are doing around them. Because they are paying attention. At the end of the day, when you are a parent, you are a parent to mold that child, have the child's well-being at heart. Like, granted, yes, we do have a life to live as well. But I'm a firm believer in once you bring a child into the world, I'm sorry, boo-boo. Your job now is to mold that child. Because that child can't do it himself. Him or himself. Or herself. That's your job. Now, granted, they say it takes a village to raise a child, which is true. I came up in a time where, you know, when your parents was at work and you weren't supposed to be out there, outside or whatever, you went outside, the neighbors would check you. Hey, ain't your parents at work? Did they say you can come outside? Well, you need to get back in the house. That kind of village mentality is needed. Nowadays, most people, they say, oh, I want a village, but you can't take it when somebody scolds your child for doing something wrong. Like, you won't even scold them when they do something wrong. So I say the village has left the plantation a long time ago. Because to have a village, also have somebody there to put you in check when you get out of line. And you don't take it as disrespect. You take it as something I can work off of. I ain't got too much more. But what I do have is this. Elders, you failed. Miserably. Not even close. Not an E for effort. And let me say this. Oh man, this one is, whoo. This one is resonating in me right now so hard. Parents, just because you went through a terrible childhood, don't make that normal and say that, well, I went through something terrible. My child should be able to deal with it. Stop putting your crappy baggage on your children. Listen to what they got to say and understand them. Stop always looking for the cop-out so you don't have to deal with your children's issues. So-called family. Stop turning your back on family and call them problematic because they have issues that you know damn well, excuse my language, that they are dealing with. And I am not talking about somebody just waking up one day saying, oh God, I hate life. I hate everything. Like, my life's so terrible. And they start acting out and everybody want to turn their back on them. I'm talking about legitimate issues. As if they grew up, again, being assaulted by boyfriends, family members, etc., etc. But everybody has an attitude of, well, you need to just move on and get over it. It is what it is. It is what it is for you, not for them. Do people actually know what it means to be plagued by something? To be plagued by something means every time you close your eyes to go to sleep, there it is again. You smell a certain smell, there it is again. You hear a certain song, there it is again. You hear a plane fly overhead, a train, anything, there it goes again. Because at that moment where whatever that was so catastrophic that was happening to them, those are the things that trigger it because they remember, because that's what happened to them at that moment. Get it together, people. Get it together. Now, I told y'all in the video at which I got my 1,000 subscribers that I was going to come with it. I had to come together for this one. I had to bring myself together. I had to bring myself to be able to have this discussion because a lot of people are not ready for this discussion. A lot of people aren't ready for this convo. Well, here it is. Gotta say this one last time. Elders, you failed. You failed. And that's my verdict. Not tipping the scale. Just coming straight with it. That's my verdict. You failed. Are you ready for this convo? Let's tip these scales. Are you ready for this convo? Let's tip these scales. Are you ready for this convo? Let's tip these scales. Are you ready for this convo? Let's tip the scales. Let's tip the scales. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for this convo? Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's tip the scales. Are you ready? Are you ready for this convo?